Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And hello, everyone. I'm trying to arrange my view so I can see you all, and I can look at all of you, the smiling faces. Yes, today we're talking about quiz funnels, pixels, verifying domains, buckets, deep dive survey, ad set, ad campaign, webinars, email autoresponders, if then if, avatars, polarizing messages. The list goes on, and let me tell you, on and on and on. And when you think you have the list, it just goes on. As our lovely announcer told us today, well, Toastmaster of the day, but announcer told us today, yes, I did publish. I was so excited yesterday after 16 months of getting this put together, doing every step as planned. I published, and I was so excited. I saw the ads, the clicking, things that were happening, numbers are coming in. I'm pretty excited. Well, turns out today that my pixels aren't set up. Anybody know what a pixel is? Yeah, okay, got a couple hands. Anyone know how to set one up? Anyone know how to verify a domain that isn't their actual domain in order to set one up? Right, so that's what my morning became like, but that was only before I'm being sandwiched between my fiance's truck getting smashed in this morning. Yes, at about 10 minutes to 10, when I was hopping on the call to discover what was going on with my pixels, we heard a very loud crash, a very loud bang. In jest, Bob says, "Hope it's not my truck." In jest, I peek out the curtain, and it looked a little funny, but, and I said, "Looks like it." Yeah, so we went outside, and this poor lady had just slammed up into it. Now, what does that have to do with a quiz funnel? It's just the point that every step and piece of that funnel can get delayed or backtracked or mistakenly done incorrectly at any given moment. And you think you have it down, and then you don't. And then when you're trying to find out how to get it down, someone's smashing into a truck. So this is the story of the quiz funnel. Now, audience, you will have the delight of asking any questions you want at the end of our talk today. So I'll speak for a little while, and then I'll let you know clearly when it's time to ask any questions. So I do recommend that you grab a little pen or pencil and a notepad or a piece of paper, or even, if you're like me, a thing of sticky notes that then you have to do something with. And take little notes if you're interested, or if anything sounds weird or strange or crazy, which hopefully that will happen, because quiz funnels are, as my coach told me, rocket science. It all starts with wanting to sell something to someone. You've written a book. You've started a coaching business. You've become a consultant. You started a brick and mortar, and you just want people there. You're selling t-shirts. Whatever it is, it all starts with wanting to sell something. Now, customarily, when we want to sell something and we're new to business, we just tell our friends about it. Maybe we get postcards made up and we pass out some postcards everywhere we go. I've had to pass out postcards for people in this group, actually. In our very group, I have passed out postcards for people's books and other things that they're doing. So it's pretty fun, yeah. And we also maybe think about running an ad or two, throw an ad in the Herald, maybe the Coast Weekly, or as they call it now, the MC Weekly. Now you guys know how old I am, huh? And yet, there's this funny little other source, in which we can let people know what's going on in our lives and get them to buy our stuff. And this is the magic of the quiz funnel. So the quiz funnel happens in 6 steps. And before I tell you what those steps are, I'm going to tell you what is a quiz funnel, because some of you may have already written that down. Like, what is it? A quiz funnel is, how many of you have been hanging out on Facebook or YouTube or wherever, and you see this cute little quiz? What's your Disney character? What's your superhero anonymity identity? What's your favorite love romantic night out? There's those quizzes. How many of you have taken a quiz online when you never planned to? It's just there and you've taken one. Okay, a few hands. How many of you know somebody who's taken a quiz? And how many of you have seen a friend of yours on Facebook or someone you know on Facebook or other social media share a quiz? Yeah. So that's a lot of us. If you haven't raised your hand to any of that, oh, well, let me tell you, you're missing out on some fun, because quizzes are fun, but they are marketing. Now, a quiz funnel for running our business is a quiz that is maybe, well, hopefully it's as fun as what's your Disney character, but it's also helpful. I'm trying to just say this in the most succinct way. When you have a quiz funnel, you will run an ad, okay? So your ad shows up on someone's, let's just stick with Facebook for now. It could be Google, it could be Instagram, it could be LinkedIn, but they see a question. For example, what's your Disney character? Now, when you click on that and you answer the questions, the company that is running that quiz is gathering data on you, whether it's what's your Disney character or whether it's a different quiz. Now, just so you know, my quiz funnel is about sales pages, because many of you know I'm a copywriter and a digital marketer, and sales pages are what many people use to sell their high-end offers. They use a sales page or they use a webinar. Those are the 2 main ways that you're going to sell something that's, $6, $7, $8, $10, $15, $18,000 to people in the world. And so how do you get them interested in what you have? Well, if you put up a quiz, for example, quiz, what's the worst thing that's happening with your sales page? Find out. Take the quiz and find out. Why isn't your sales page making more money? Take the quiz and find out. So there's all these different ways that you can word your question. And in my case, my quiz leads people to a questionnaire, a quiz funnel, where they can answer questions about what's going on with their sales page. So when you click it, it has a question. What is your conversion rate on your sales page? Is it under 5%, over 5%? The next question, where is your call to action button located? Is it at the top of the page? Is it in the middle of the page? Do you have 50 of them? Do you have it down at the bottom of the page? All these little things I know make a difference, but people don't. So when they're taking the quiz, they're finding out something about their business, their quiz, or their sales page, and themselves. This is how the quiz works in its magic. Because a quiz is a way to get somebody to give you their email address so that they get the answers to it, but it's in a way that it gave them something valuable to begin with. And now, disclaimer, if anything about this sounds fun for you at some point, but you don't have a very good offer, or you don't have a legitimate offer, or you don't have something that's helpful to the world, forget it. I mean, you can do it, but it's definitely not recommended. So I know all of you though, and I know that's not you. But there are people who have really crazy things and they try to get me to write them stuff and sell it. No. Doesn't work. But assuming that you have this wonderful product or this wonderful book, and I know a lot of you do, everyone in this room, I mean, there's several of you right now that have great books and I've read them and like them. And Fred has one coming up, and some of you have these wonderful services. And in the world out there, there's people with brick and mortars who want to try to build their business. So this is a fun way to do it, where you're already on step one. You are giving the client enough value to like you when they give you that email. And then you start emailing them, and eventually you sell them your product. And that's how that works. And the steps are, you have to choose your market. And then you have to get your first 100 leads. And then you have to get your first sale. Maybe it's through a webinar, maybe it's through calls or an application. Then you want to race to 10,000. You want to make your first $10,000. That's the biggie. Then you want to have your first $10,000 month. And then the sky's the limit. You go from 10,000 a month to consistently $10,000 a month, to then 25 and beyond. And that's the quiz funnel in a nutshell. Now, I know I've thrown a lot at you, and I see it in the faces. Oh my gosh. And I tell you, this is exactly what it feels like day in and day out while working on one. So I do understand your pain. Also, you may have some questions. What is this? What is it all about? How can this work for other people? You might be wondering how this could work for you, or how this could work for a friend. And I can tell you, when you have something like a book or something like a business, it's a legacy that you're creating. It's something that you can pass down to your family. You can celebrate your family heritage with a business or a book or something like that makes your name last longer than your lifespan. And that's what I love about the quiz, because it can help people market and get that book or the services into other people's hands. And now you cannot ask me how mine's doing, because it just started and apparently I don't have pixels. But you can ask me anything else you'd like about the quiz funnel. So I know I have a couple of people who have questions. Let's see. Tatiana.
How can we construct a quiz funnel to spark interest and pathways among old-timers, Toastmasters?
Oh, I love that question. And Tatiana, I've actually thought about that. A quiz funnel for old timers could be a question as simple as, how comfortable are you speaking in front of an audience? Take the quiz to find out your comfort level. Or how do you write your next speech? Take the quiz and find out how to write that next speech. So we could ask questions. First of all, Tatiana, we'd want to ask questions to us old timers. I include that. I am over 50 now. To us old timers, and find out, we call this a deep dive survey. We find out what it is that we are struggling with. And then we take those questions, those struggles, that's where we would get the content for the quiz. That's where we would find out, okay, we're going to use these words. Fred said he has trouble with the technology. Arnie says he doesn't know how to do any of it. Sam says, quiz what? So at that point, we would create the funnel based on what everybody's having trouble with. And that's the secret. Great question. Thank you. I saw a couple of other hands. I think Annette, did you have your hand up? Yeah.
I did, Carrie. Very interesting. I was wondering, how does the quiz funnel differ from having a free gift offer?
Right. Another great question, because it's identical. Annette. They are the same. A quiz funnel is, as Annette is saying, a free gift, or some might call it a bribe to get their email information, or a freebie. And the difference is that it's fun. People love to take quizzes. So that's difference number one. Well, I can't say the second one is any better because these are both really good differences. Difference number two is it is very cost effective to run ads to a quiz funnel. It is very cost effective because I don't know why. It's for the tech gods to, to know that. I just know that it is. So you can get leads for, 15 cents, 85 cents, 30 cents. I mean, some go into the dollar, but mostly a lot of people that I know that are doing these are under $1 for these leads. So it really can be cost effective. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
All right, excellent. Oh, I see more hands up, and I don't know what order they were in. So let's go with, let's go with one of our guests. Is it Eowyn?
Yeah, it's Aowen. So I was wondering, you said something about, for the old timers, the quizzes are like, how to write your next speech. How comfortable are you with public speaking? What research do you do to be able to give the answers to those questions based off of how the people answer the questions?
That's a great question. This is what we call a deep dive survey. And so what we would do is we would literally ask the people, and it doesn't even have to be age limited. I mean, these really can go beyond age, but with old people, we also might add tech because a lot of us have trouble with tech. I definitely do. But yeah, we just ask, and what the single most, and now if you don't remember anything, remember this. If you're ever trying to sell anything to anybody, remember this. When you ask somebody what troubles they're having, what struggles they're having, why they liked your book, what they think about your book or your service, listen extremely carefully to the answer and listen to how they word it. So someone who says, I'm having trouble writing a speech, versus someone who says, I hate writing speeches, versus someone who says, I don't know how to write a speech. Those are three different people. And the great thing about the quiz funnel is it sections you off. So you have the people who, no, I hate it. Then you have the people who says, I've never done it, I can't do it. Then there's the people who say, I love to write, but I just don't know what to do. And the quiz funnel sections that out, and that's the fun part.
Right. My main question is in the quiz fun, I've only seen one or two, but they give you advice on what to do, or who your favorite Disney princess is. They give you answers. What data do you take to base those answers off of?
Right. I take the answers from an earlier question in your particular avatar, in your persona.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I would have asked someone like you, and I would have gotten your answers. And then I would make the questions match that language, and I would make the answer match that language.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's all about matching the language that I get from you, versus if I ask Pat the same question, I'm going to get different language. So then I'll have different questions for her. It's rocket science. Yeah, it's really hard. You have to do that early. And that's why it's called a deep dive survey. You have to get those early answers and the exact right language.
Okay.
It's
Thank
hard.
you.
Let's see, Nicholas.
So I wanted to ask, you're taking all of this data in from all these surveys. Do you have a plan to iterate and essentially optimize the questions and the answers later on with the previous answers that you've gotten? If you get 10,000 answers to your quiz, then you kind of know going further that you can change some of the answers.
That is perfect. That you should be in the program. I mean, that is exactly what the next step is. As we gather information, we will learn from the people who take the quiz, and we'll learn what questions. We can actually see what questions someone falls off at. If someone decides they don't want to answer this question, and they fall off the whole quiz, they leave it, we can see where that is. So yes, we can adjust as it goes. There, the program that runs this for me, the program that I have, is very detailed and specific. So yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think I thought we had 2 hands up. Kelly, did you have a question?
I did, but my question was along the lines of Aowen's and Nicholas's, so it did get answered. Thank you.
Okay, good. And then Lisa.
Thank you. So I was waiting when you were asking your questions of how many of you know better than to take these quizzes for this exact reason about data collection. With that said, you started us off with an excellent story, and I want to know what happened to the truck and what happened to the lady.
Well, they both got towed away, Lisa. It was very sad to see. A lady went up to Chomp because there may have been some pills involved, and the truck went off to truck heaven, we think. But hope it doesn't look good for either one. But she's okay physically, so that's the good. Yeah.
And I will say with that, we are at the end of time of your 20 minutes.
Thank you. I see the red, and yeah, I think that wraps us up. And I want to thank you all for your time, your questions. I know this was a tough subject and might be a little bit dry for some people, so I hoped I didn't keep it dry. And thank you very much.